We're going to put together the step-by-step that's included in the magazine, so we're going to start by creating our new background, and we need a sheet of paper. So we go to File, New. Pull that over into place so that we can see it all, and simply insert into these two boxes here 750 into each. This is just determining the size of the sheet of paper that we're going to be using, and of course we need a resolution. The two go together. So I'm going to put into there 96 dpi, which is the screen resolution for a PC, and then everybody should get it somewhere near. And I simply click OK. The result, we get ourselves a blank white sheet of paper. Okay. We're going to open the high jump photograph. I've already got it down here. There it is. This is the picture that's included on the disc. Let's just pull that one a little further across. It doesn't matter what size you make this. I'm just going to resize it so that I can get it conveniently on here. The actual size of these is the percentage that relates one to the other. As I pull this across from here to here, the size will change anyway. Just be aware that if you have the layers palette open, you do need to be on the layer with the cutout high jumper. There's one underneath it here that has the original picture in. You don't want that. You just want the cutout, and that means you need to have this layer selected. I'm going to get rid of that just to keep it out of the way. Pick up the Move tool, grab hold of the high jumper, and click and hold down the mouse as you pull. You can see what's happening. It comes with you. It appears to say stop, but just keep going, because as soon as you hit the side of the second frame, it will come with you, and there he is. We'll pull him into place, and there's our high jumper positioned. Good practice, basic good practice in digital imaging. Do not leave things open that you're not using. So I'm going to close that one down, and that's no longer using our precious memory. We can get on with the picture that we've got here. What's next? Well, we want to create a background. There is no background behind this jumper at the moment, but if we go back into our layers again, you'll see that when he was dragged across onto here, he didn't appear on the original background. He in fact appeared on a layer above it, and the area around him is fully transparent. All we need to do is activate the background. We want to work on the background, we activate it first. And now we can work happily here, totally ignoring our high jumper. In fact, for now, I'm going to switch him off by simply clicking on this little eye here, and he will disappear. Still there, of course, but out of sight at this moment in time. We can fit them all on the screen like that. Now, what about this background? Well, I've already selected the colors, but if you haven't got these colors on your screen, simply click on the foreground color and choose the one you want. It's not critical. And then choose on the background color and choose something that's a bit darker, and I went for a really dark blue. So those are the two colors which I've chosen by clicking on the appropriate swatch. Now what I want to do is apply a gradient. So of course we must select the gradient tool, that one there. And in order to draw the gradient, we need to make a selection from these. That's what our gradient will look like. It's going to go from the foreground color to the background color, and we can see it here. But we need to select the type of gradient. We need to tell the computer that, and the one that I'm looking for is this one, a radial gradient. And the gradient will always draw from where you first click outwards. So I'm going to start in the middle here and pull outwards, and it should go from the yellowy color out to the dark blue. Let's try it and see. I'm going to click there, roughly in the center, and simply draw a line. The length of this line determines the gradient. See that? I didn't get it quite in the center. If I had only gone a short way, I would have had a very quick gradient. If I go a long way, I get an extended gradient, and it's nice and soft all the way out. That's what I want. But I haven't finished there. We need more than that. We don't need just a gradient. It looks too bland, too ordinary. What I want to do is put something else onto that. And we're going to try adding noise from the filter. Filter, noise, add noise. Simple little thing. You just click on it. And when you do so, up comes this box, and this wonderful texture appears all over the place. You can adjust the amount, much as you like. And you can also decide whether you want it in color, see the tiny colored dots there, or whether you want it in monochrome. I want it in monochrome because that's the effect that's required. We don't want to add more color to it, we've already put the color in. And just make sure that this number's somewhere over 20. It needs to be that amount to be able to show. And click OK. It's that simple. Now when we did this, we found that a little bit harsh. The grains are quite obvious, and if I were to just magnify this up to the 100% mark, you can see they're very obvious there. So we went on and we just blurred it slightly using Gaussian blur, blur, Gaussian blur, and you can just throw that out of focus just a little, not as much as that. Just enough to soften the edges, something like that. And that's more pleasant. And if we now zoom back down again, you'll see that it's a much softer appearance altogether. Okay, what happens now? Well, the reason for putting those dots on there was to allow us to put on a blur filter, to actually create this spinning effect that hopefully will be sympathetic with the high jumper. And we did that also via the filters. Filter, blur, this time radial blur. Now, I warned in the article that this is a bit of killer. Go very careful with this because this is a very memory intensive filter, and if you don't have a fast computer with lots of RAM, you could get unstuck here. Pull the amount up to somewhere around about 75. Again, it's not critical, we're just looking for something that's going to give a decent amount of movement around here, and switch it to spin. If it's on zoom, just change it over and it will rotate around the point that you've marked here and put it onto drafts so that it doesn't cause us any problems with the memory. We can reposition it. We can pull this to where we think the center is. Now, it's not easy because you're not sure where the center is, but I'm going to go for about there, and I'm simply going to click OK, and the filter goes to work. Look at that. Wow, we've now got this tremendous movement around the center here, and that's what I wanted. If you feel it's not enough, by all means do it again. You can go back to the filter and simply click here this time. You don't need to go back into the filter and it will reapply it. But I think probably that will do for this particular one. Now we need a high jumper back, and if I click here you can see now we have the high jumper rotating with the movement of the background. And because he's on a layer, if we get hold of the arrow here, the move arrow, we can reposition him. Well, at least we could have done. Wonderful fanfare there. We could have done if we'd been on the right layer. And it's always the same, isn't it? We always make a mistake somewhere. It doesn't matter. Don't panic. Just move, slow down, have a look and see what you've done, and then go back. It's important to stop when you make a mistake. Right, we've got him where I wanted to be, rotating somewhere around that center point, and I'm pretty happy with that. Now, I could have finished there. That would have been quite satisfactory. We've put him onto the background. We have sympathetic colors. It all looks as though it's turning, but we felt it was all a bit static. He is static. The background moves. He looks as though he's just falling in space. I wanted him to appear to spin also. And we did this in another way. If I just pull this down here so we have a little more palette, I made a second layer. Grab hold of the one you want, pull it to the sheet of paper and let go, and you will have an identical layer of the one before. Go to the lower one in the stack. You look at this stack from the top downwards, so this is the one on top, this is the one behind it, this is the background. And when that is selected, apply that radial blur again. This time not to the background, but to the layer that we've just created. Filter, I don't need to go into it, I can do it from here, radial blur, and watch the picture. Wow, see that? What's really happened, of course, is that we've taken the high jumper that was there, and we've blurred that in a circle as well. But by leaving the original on top, it looks as though just the colors have moved, and you get a much greater sense of the movement of the high jumper. One final move. This wasn't really part of the original idea, but I got a bit carried away. Having sort of got it to this stage, I felt there was more. If you switch off the background and make sure that one of these two layers is selected, as it is, we can now combine these together. We can make it into a single piece. And we do that by clicking here and then simply come down and say Merge Visible. These are the only two visible, so those are the two that will join together. Now I have a layer which has this background attached to it. See that? If I move it now, the radial blur of the high jumper will move with it. So I can create another one. Click on there, drag it down. We now have two high jumpers, one there and one in behind. And the final thing that I did was to take one of these, doesn't matter which one, and simply rotate it. Edit, transform, rotate. grab hold of the outside of one of these corners here, and look at that. That's a good trick if you can do it, and you can pull this to wherever you like. Press OK, that accepts it. Pull that one up to there and move the other one to wherever you want, and with a little bit of repositioning here you can produce a perfectly satisfactory picture. If you find that some of the blur obscures the one underneath, then simply create a layer mask and paint black on it to get rid of it, as we've done in previous exercises. Just arrange the whole thing until it looks right to you, and there you have a brand new image on a brand new background. It's easy. Enjoy.